In the annals of history, there are stories that resonate across time, stories that transcend their temporal and cultural origins to become universal lessons for humanity. The story of Prophet Moses is one such tale, a saga of unwavering faith, the struggle for freedom, and the ultimate triumph of divine justice over tyranny. This epic account captures the essence of courage and the enduring power of truth. Moses' story begins during one of the darkest periods in the history of the Israelites, a time when they lived as slaves under the oppressive rule of Pharaoh, the mighty king of Egypt. Pharaoh was a man who considered himself divine, demanding worship from his subjects and ruling with an iron fist. Among his many acts of cruelty, one was particularly heinous. He ordered the killing of all newborn male children of the Israelites. This decree was driven by a prophecy that an Israelite boy would rise to challenge his throne. Amid this grim backdrop, a child was born. His mother, guided by divine inspiration, realized that her son's life was in danger. She hid him for as long as she could, but when it became impossible to keep him safe, she placed him in a small tar-sealed basket and set it afloat on the waters of the Nile River. Her heart heavy with prayer, she entrusted her son's fate to Allah. The Nile, often a symbol of life and sustenance, carried the basket to an unlikely destination, the palace of Pharaoh himself. It was here that the child was discovered by Pharaoh's wife, Asiya, a woman of great compassion and wisdom. Struck by the child's beauty and innocence, she convinced Pharaoh to spare him, saying, "He may bring joy to our lives, or we may adopt him as a son." And so, by divine design, Moses was raised in the very household of the man who sought to destroy him. Although Moses grew up surrounded by the grandeur of Pharaoh's court, his heart remained tethered to the plight of his people. His innate sense of justice often brought him into conflict with the Egyptians' treatment of the Israelites. One day, as he walked through the city, he saw an Egyptian taskmaster brutally beating an Israelite slave. In a moment of righteous anger, Moses intervened and struck the Egyptian, unintentionally killing him. Realizing the gravity of his act, Moses fled Egypt, seeking refuge in the distant land of Midian. It was in Midian that Moses' life took a transformative turn. Here he found shelter with a kind-hearted man who offered him his daughter's hand in marriage. Moses settled into a life of humility and hard work, tending to his father-in-law's flocks. Yet his destiny was far greater than the quiet life of a shepherd. One fateful day, as Moses led his sheep near Mount Sinai, he witnessed a sight that would change his life forever, a bush engulfed in flames, yet not consumed by the fire. As he approached, a voice called out, "Moses, I am your Lord. Remove your sandals, for you are in a sacred valley." It was Allah speaking to him directly, commissioning him as a prophet and entrusting him with a divine mission, to return to Egypt, confront Pharaoh, and demand the liberation of the Israelites. Overwhelmed by the enormity of this task, Moses hesitated. He pleaded, "My Lord, I fear they will reject me. My speech is not fluent and Pharaoh is powerful." Allah reassured him, granting him miraculous signs to prove his prophethood and appointing his brother, Aaron, as his spokesman and companion. Armed with faith and divine guidance, Moses set out for Egypt, determined to fulfill his mission. Upon their arrival in Pharaoh's court, Moses and Aaron stood before the king, their voices steady and resolute. "We come to you with a message from the Lord of all worlds," they declared. "Let the children of Israel go free." Pharaoh, with his unyielding pride, scoffed at their words. "Who is this Lord of yours?" he demanded arrogantly. Moses replied, "He is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and everything between them." To demonstrate the truth of their message, Moses cast down his staff, which transformed into a living serpent. Unmoved, Pharaoh summoned his court magicians, challenging them to replicate the miracle. The magicians threw down their staffs, which also appeared to become serpents. But when Moses' serpent devoured theirs, it became clear that his power was not of this world. Struck by the truth, the magicians fell to their knees, proclaiming their belief in the Lord of Moses and Aaron. Pharaoh, enraged by this open defiance, punished the magicians and intensified his oppression of the Israelites. Undeterred, Moses continued to confront Pharaoh, warning him of Allah's wrath if he refused to release the Israelites. Pharaoh dismissed these warnings, and so began a series of divine signs plagues that struck at the heart of Egypt's pride and prosperity. The waters of the Nile turned to blood, rendering the lifeline of Egypt undrinkable. Frogs swarmed the land, followed by lice and swarms of locusts that devastated the crops. Darkness enveloped the land, and hailstorms destroyed what remained of Egypt's agriculture. Each plague was a reminder of Pharaoh's defiance, yet he remained obstinate, his heart hardened by arrogance. Even as his people suffered, Pharaoh refused to relent. He sought to bargain with Moses, offering partial freedom to the Israelites. But Moses stood firm, declaring that Allah's command was absolute, the complete liberation of the Israelites. Finally, after the 10th and most devastating plague, the death of the firstborn sons of Egypt, Pharaoh conceded. He summoned Moses and said, "Take your people and leave Egypt." The Israelites, weary from generations of slavery, gathered their belongings and followed Moses into the night, their hearts filled with hope and trepidation. Their journey to freedom was not without peril. As they approached the Red Sea, they found themselves trapped. Pharaoh had changed his mind and was pursuing them with his army. Fear gripped the Israelites, but Moses reassured them, saying, "My Lord is with me. He will guide me." At Allah's command, Moses struck the sea with his staff, and the waters parted, creating a path of dry land. The Israelites crossed safely, their faith renewed by this miraculous display of Allah's power. When Pharaoh and his army attempted to follow, the sea closed in on them, drowning them and putting an end to their tyranny. Standing on the shores of freedom, the Israelites rejoiced and gave thanks to Allah. Their journey had been long and arduous, but it was a testament to the power of faith and the triumph of justice. Moses continued to lead his people, guiding them through the wilderness and teaching them the laws revealed to him by Allah on Mount Sinai. The story of Moses and Pharaoh is more than a historical account. It is a profound narrative filled with timeless lessons. It reminds us of the importance of standing up for truth, even in the face of overwhelming odds. It teaches us that faith in Allah can overcome the greatest challenges and that no tyrant, no matter how powerful, can withstand the will of the Almighty. Moses' unwavering commitment to his mission, his patience in the face of rejection, and his reliance on Allah's guidance serve as an inspiration for all who strive for justice and righteousness. His story is a beacon of hope for those who face oppression, a reminder that liberation is possible when one places their trust in Allah. As we reflect on the story of Moses, we are reminded of the enduring power of faith and the boundless mercy of Allah. It is a tale that transcends time, calling us to live with courage, integrity, and an unshakable belief in the ultimate triumph of truth over falsehood.